So I'm gonna make this video a little bit different. Right now, my city doesn't have any water. And what this is really about is we're talking about having accountability structures. And we have to pay attention who's watching when you're a leader. When you're a leader, you have to be accountable to someone. You are accountable to someone who's directing you. Maybe you're a leader and there's nobody above you. But you still have to be accountable to your behaviors. And I know one thing: when you're in a political office, city mayor, city manager, whatever it is, politician, you serve the people. It's very important. And yesterday, our water went out early in the morning, around 7 o'clock. I got notified that the water went out. I was away from home. Neighbor called me, said, "Hey, man, we don't have any water." I said, "Got it." Sends me a note, says, "Hey, it's going to be on 4 to 5 hours." It's been more than 24 hours. And right now, this is starting to snowball into a effect of what happened in 2021 when we had Snowmageddon in Texas when everything froze up. And my problem isn't with the employees who are trying to bring up the city systems. My problem is with the organization's leadership and the lack of effective communication that they have with their citizens. We have Facebook channel. We have a city Facebook channel it's opened every 3 to 4 hours. They'll update it every 3 to 4 hours, sometimes 7 hours. And there's like literally no operation center in a crisis center situation like this. I'm in a pretty good situation. I've seen Facebook posts where they've got individuals out there, and we're talking about leadership. We're talking about building trust and confidence and being vulnerable in your citizens, inside your organization, big, large, or small. There are people out there without cars that can't go get water. There are people, I have a pool, so I can flush my toilets and I can boil water. I've got a stockpile of water for my family. There are some individuals that don't have that mindset or either the resources to have the capability of being well prepared. And the important thing about being accountable, it's not a conversation. I'm not here to demean anybody. No, it's about having hard conversations without trying to hurt feelings. Because if you go around just yelling, hollering, and screaming at individuals, nothing's ever going to get solved. That is not leadership. We have a problem. We know what the what is. The water isn't running. There ain't nothing coming from the taps. Nothing. And I live on top of the mountain area, and we are always the last people to get water because it's where we live at. And I'm not complaining where I live at, but we depend on a water tower, gravity fed system to be able to pressurize, to be able to feed water to everywhere else. So everybody in the lowlands of the city that I live in, they get water and we get it last. But we're talking about behavior-centered feedback. Inside an organization, when you're accountable to people, you have to have the ability to count for your actions and consequences. It's like when I go to my accountant, how much money do I have? How much taxes do I have? How much do I have to pay this year? And that individual provides a service to me. And they are always accountable for the ability to account for my taxes. My wife is the financial manager of the house. It's something that we set up over 27 years ago when I was in the Army because I would be deployed. And I'm like, hey, operations still got to run inside of Irby Incorporated. We call, that we run our marriage like a business because the marriage is interdependent on us being accountable to each other. And she can account. She has the ability to count to the T where every penny goes. I have to be accountable to where I'm spending resources in Irby Incorporated within our household. You don't want somebody who's managing your money and they're like, I can't account for where your money's going. That's absolutely horrible. And we're not I'm not attacking the character of the mayor or the city manager or anything like that or any other leader out there. I posted a weekly quote the other day about talking about leadership. And with leadership, there's a level of competency that you have to have. You have to be able to have a certain amount of knowledge, skills, abilities, and other competencies to be a great, effective leader. I love how Jordan Peterson says it. There's a hierarchy of competence, and there absolutely is. And your hierarchy of competence will be exposed because of your character, of who you are as a person. We've always said that your talents will take you places to where your character can't keep you. And your character is going to be able to expose who you are in crisis situations. I'm calm, I'm cool, I'm collected, but we have to be able to name the commitment that we have, and our commitment is to our community. Our commitment is to our employees to be accountable to the specific behaviors that we're engaged in and that they are mission focused. I was listening to some senator, and I think it was North Carolina, and had the school commissioner or whoever this dude was sitting in a nice, sweet ass suit sitting in front of him. And she was talking about somebody in the school district had taken a $7,000 plane trip to Australia. That's first class ticket all the way. $7,000 trip to Australia. That was just the flight. And I'm sitting up here and I'm like, how do you account for that? Because those behaviors right there are not aligned with the commitment to the organization. Who's approving that stuff? Who's accounting for that? When we talk about the lack of effective communications with our water situation, I go back and I say, let's look at when you are going to effectively communicate to your citizens. We're talking about effective communication. We know the repair is done. I drive by the big dirt pile on the back road and I can see where the water main bust. I had a gentleman over at my house and he knows exactly how the water main bust, and it was an accident. But that's not being communicated to the community. Some people are saying it's ground movement, but we've got 3 other cities around us, and you got Fort Hood, so that's like 4 cities. And Copper's Cove seems like the only one to have water mains break. Very, very interesting. Talk about the infrastructure is 30 years old. I got it. Every city's infrastructure around here is 30 years old because all the cities were built up at the same time. But you have to set out specific date and time groups on when you're going to effectively communicate to your citizens. It's very important. And provide a situational update. Provide a situational update to your employees. This is what's going on. If you don't have anything to put out and be like, status no change. However, we are continuing to try to resolve what the flow rate is. We are 50% through the breach. And the breach is simply the obstacle of getting 100% flow rate so that all the water towers are filled, or either the task is accomplished, or either trying to work through an issue on an assembly line, a service line, or whatever it is. And then at the end, you come back with lessons learned. And in the Army, we used to call it after action review. You do an AAR and find out what went bad, what went good, how can we improve, and how can we make sure that this doesn't happen again. This is what we talk about: leadership, accountability to your responsibilities. That's all we're asking. That's all we are asking. So go ahead. This is a little bit different video. This is one of the spontaneous ones. I had recorded a video earlier, but it didn't work out well. But due to the circumstances of life and everything that's going on, I felt this was a little bit more appropriate. And I actually kind of like this format of video a little bit better. So do this. This week, sit back and look inside your organization, inside your family. If you are a a city manager or either if you are a government leader, and ask yourself, what are my commitments? Who am I accountable to? What are my responsibilities? Have I set date and time groups on when I'm going to effectively communicate my commitments, my responsibilities, and am I accountable to my behaviors? And are we servicing targets center mass every single day? Is the mission complete? Have we met the standard of what we said we were going to do? Because there are people out there depending on you. And when you operate in a vacuum and you hide information, things like that, you lose trust every single day. Because sneaky stuff starts to happen, and people don't like sneaky stuff. People don't like snakes. There's a nice song out there. Joker says he keeps his grass cut real low so that he can see all that snake stuff going on. Yeah. Don't be a snake. Don't be a snake, because people are watching out for you, and I don't like snakes. Any kind of snake. Y'all take care. I'll see y'all around. Thank you.